Now, 2026 could be a game-changing year for weight loss drugs. Semaglutide goes off patent in Canada, and patent for semaglutide will also expire here in India by March. Remember, this class of drugs is already the best-selling, drug in India, and it's basically taken 6 months for that to become the number one money spinner in the space. Let's just talk about what the implications are from a company perspective. Alankar Garude is analyst at Kotak Institutional Equities. Alankar, good to have you with us here. Good morning. Thanks very much for joining us. Prashant this side. First up, wishing you a happy new year. I hope it's a great one for you guys. So just the context first, and what does it mean for companies? Many who've basically said that they're looking at this and they want to launch this. So just your thoughts, initial, just set it up for us.
Sure. Good morning, Prashant, and wish you and the entire team at CNBC as well as all the viewers a very happy new year. So if you look at the semaglutide opportunity in Canada, the patent just got expired yesterday, but we still haven't got any single generic which has been approved. So what's happening here is there are three players which are at the forefront. One is Dr. Reddy's and the other two are Sandoz and Apotex. Now, Dr. Reddy's got a notice of non-objection in end of October, which essentially means a delay of at least 6 months as far as their approval is concerned. So more likely that they will get an approval in May. Apotex, our current understanding is that they have a goal date around May or June. So broadly similar time frame as far as Dr. Reddy's, assuming both of them get an approval around the same time frame. And then Sandoz, which was actually supposed to be one of the first players to launch, they had commented a couple of months back that they would be launching around the first half of CY26. But I was reading an interview about 10 days back wherein the CEO of Sandoz has said that most likely they are now looking at a launch in the third quarter of CY26, which is actually not bad news for Dr. Reddy's. So we are looking at a situation that most likely there won't be any generic approval over the next few months. And amongst these players, you will have one player somewhere entering around May or June, most likely Dr. Reddy's or Apotex. And then Sandoz will be launching a few months down the line. After that, of course, we have three other companies which have filed. There are a few more Indian companies, non-Indian companies, which are looking to file in Canada. So it's going to take some time before you see more than 6-7 players entering the market. The key thing to understand here is if you look at the pricing structure in Canada, you have one generic entering the market, there is a 25% erosion. You have the second generic entering the market, there is a 50% erosion. You have the third generic entering the market, there is a 65% erosion. And we expect Novo to go all out as far as protecting its market share is concerned, given that Canada is the first market which is going to see generic entry of semaglutide globally.
Alankar, in India, specifically Canada is of course one, but in India, we had those numbers, right? Mounjaro is already the top-selling drug. What happens next this year?
I think what's going to happen is you already have three companies which have got approval in India. Quite likely that there will be many more which will be launching in the first wave somewhere around end of March or early April. Eventually, for the first couple of years, the competition is going to be pretty intense. But we do expect companies which have a stronger franchise amongst diabetologists as well as endocrinologists, companies which are amongst the top 10 or top 15 as far as diabetes today are concerned, will be the eventual winners. So eventually the market will consolidate. Our view is the top 10 or maybe the top 15 companies will have a 75 to 80% share of the market, whether you look at diabetes or whether you look at the obesity segment. And all the larger players which are strong in the diabetes segment will have a strong play in the obesity space as well.
All right. Hi, Alankar. Good to see you, and thanks a lot for joining in. This is Nigel on this side. I just missed out. What is the market size of the Canadian semaglutide opportunity? If you could help me out with the absolute number. And if I got that correct, you're expecting Dr. Reddy's to actually, come on board in the middle of 2026. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay.
If you look at, so from a value standpoint, the market today is more than $1 billion, US dollars. From a volume standpoint, the estimate is that there are more than 1 million people today in Canada which are taking these drugs. This is the brand, of course. The expectation is the volumes will expand given affordability will no longer be an issue once the generics enter the market. So our view is from the current base of 1 million people who are actually taking this drug at the moment, this number could expand by 50%, 100%, even more than that, depending on how quickly the generics enter the market. So very likely that from 1 million, we'll have a number closer to 2.5 million over the next couple of years and possibly only expand thereon. The key thing to monitor, as I said earlier, is going to be pricing.
Got it. All right. And what about Sun Pharma? By when do you expect them to launch in Canada?
So Sun has filed via Taro in June of 2025. Typically, if you look at the review cycle of Health Canada, I think it's safer to assume that Sun will not be entering the market anytime in the first half of CY26. More likely towards the end of CY26 would be our sense, assuming they don't get a further CRL or a further delay from Health Canada. The other important thing to highlight here is if you look at the history of Health Canada, they have not approved a single GLP-1 generic till now. I'm not just talking about semaglutide, but I'm also including liraglutide here. And this is unlike any of the other global regulators. If you look at US FDA, if you look at UK MHRA, all of them have approved at least one generic GLP-1. So to that extent, Health Canada has taken a slightly different stance when it comes to approving these generics, at least till now.
Top idea, Alankar. Top idea from your coverage universe.
So within pharma on the large cap space, we like Sun Pharma, followed by Lupin and Cipla. Within hospitals on the large cap space, we would recommend Apollo Hospitals at this point of time.
Okay, all right. Alankar, thank you very much for that. So that's the conversation, especially focused, of course, on GLP-1, but there is other stuff which we will continue to talk about with Alankar through the course of 2026. Well,